All right, so different kind of video today. I'm going to time the exact amount of time that we roll off the driveway, you guys. Battery life, and I'm not going to include when the car's sitting around doing absolutely nothing. And I'm going to talk here
And you can eavesdrop on our conversations.
with my wife about what she thinks about her car. Because in reality, my car is the BMW. This is daily driven Tesla, and this is really her car, even though I always drive it because she never drives because I don't want her to drive and she doesn't like it. And I'm probably going to get a left cross across the face as she's sitting here listening to me. So she'll probably absorb this and come back with something, or she won't. But anyway, so 64%. And I'm going to time the amount of time I'm driving from here to the sushi restaurant. And
I'm more interested in the sushi than the battery test, but I'll play along.
then when the car is parked, I'm not going to include that in the time. This is 100%, I'd say 95% highway drive. There won't be much regen so that you get an idea with 64%. How much exactly do you burn with it's minus 16, and if I can, somewhere up here, minus 27 wind chill when I last looked a half hour ago, real field temperatures.
I think it's too wicked cold to think. That's what I think. Too cold to talk or do anything.
You'll see how much battery actually gets burned driving on the highway with a little bit of regen in the non-highway part of the drive, which, as I said, is very minimal. And while we're doing this, I'm going to talk with my wife a bit and ask her what she thinks about this golf cart, as I call it, what her experience has been in 3 years, what if she has something she wants to share about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we'll just talk about it together.
Well, I don't know. I think if you're not parking outside, um, it's a good car and you don't do crazy amounts of driving. But I think if we had to park outside and we didn't have a place to plug it in, it would be a nuisance, or we were using it for long drives all the time. It wouldn't be so convenient.
I don't know what's going on with the audio. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to tweak it a little.
Just to use a regular charger and stick it into the wall you would need. Definitely the faster charger at home, which is, as you all know, an investment.
The bottom line is being able to charge at home and parking your car in a garage really eliminates all the stress of charging.
Yeah, I think that putting it mildly, like she said it would be a disaster if you cannot plug this car in. And the reason we don't bother with the faster charger is because we don't really do a lot of driving. It doesn't matter anyway with this car. And daily, weekly, there's not too much of a distance that this car can't handle.
In other words, no East Coast driving to Florida in this car. Not for me.
And like I talk about, or I'm going to talk about in another video in a little more detail, if you're going to go on a long drive in this car and it's minus 27 real feel like today, you're not going to last for more than 2.5 hours before needing to go to a charger. So no matter what the car tells you, and it's very good about telling you what to expect, you really want to plan in your mind if you want to go on a long drive to be safe, 2.5 hours, maximum 2 hours, 45 minutes straight driving on the highway because you have no regen, so the battery can't, gain some energy back. That's what you're in store for. You have to stop in that type of time interval. So I wouldn't recommend, I mean, personally, I think that even an 8 hour drive is a bit torturous when it's cold. When it's not this cold, it's okay. You could drive almost 4 hours, pretty much 4 hours straight if you have full battery and then stop for a charge. So that's not too bad at all.
You're right, it's not too bad. And after 4 hours, everybody wants to stretch their legs, get a snack and stuff. So you really just have an extra tiny bit of chunk of time, depending on how fast you are, and bathroom breaks to, you know, kind of wait for it in terms of the same thing as if you were using gas. It's really quick. It takes a few minutes to fill up and that's it. So in comparison, if you can plan it and time it, it works out. I think doing trips in the summertime, the fall, and the spring is probably um, a better time to choose to do it in this car. But I definitely wouldn't do it in the winter.
The funny thing about these batteries is don't kid yourself also, which just reminded me. In the summer, when it's 100 degrees, its battery drains just like it does when it's super duper polar vortex cold. You get the exact same result. It drains really fast, and it's not even the battery. It's because you need the HVAC. So for the purpose of this test, 21.5 degrees, and the fan speed is on going to be on 3 the whole time, unless something ridiculous happens and I need to do more than that. But it's the HVAC, it's the heat and the air conditioning that drains the bulk of your battery life.
I think the other positive thing about this car, especially in the scenario that we have, and I'm sure a lot of other people are in the same situation, you know, like you said, you drive your BMW, and we used to have the Mercedes, and when you go in just for your service, it's absolutely ridiculous what they charge you, and it's been absolutely a pleasure, besides not having to go to the gas pump and worrying about the fluctuation of gas. It's been an absolute pleasure having to put in practically zero money into the maintenance of this car.
Maintenance is a huge thing for a lot of people because when you're already, it doesn't matter if your car is considered low end, medium, or high, nobody likes it because you feel like you put enough into your car anyway. Most cars are a loss, and if somebody's going in and, regardless of whether they have a Ferrari or a Toyota Corolla, don't get insulted if you have a Toyota Corolla. I don't mean anything by it. I don't know, these days everyone's so politically correct and gets so upset so quickly, so I just kind of say that anyways, which I don't even think I should have to, but I also don't want anyone watching to feel disgruntled or insulted. So anyways, the point I'm trying to make is Ferrari, Lamborghini, Toyota Corolla, Lada, or everything in between, because a car is such a bang out monetarily and it's all relative, nobody likes spending an extra couple hundred to many thousands, depending on the car you have, for
or
servicing.
Even more.
Or even
got a
more
Bugatti.
if you've got a Bugatti. Or, even the Mercedes, which is no Bugatti. I think some services cost, what were they, $1,000, $1,500?
They were more than that.
Were they more?
Yes.
So you get
the low end was maybe 1,500.
So you get the idea. This car hasn't even had brakes done because you don't need to do anything. If you use the regenerative braking, you're barely touching your brakes. As a matter of fact, so you don't get a rust buildup on the brakes, I purposely use them once a week, because with this car, if you accelerate from dead stop to go quickly, the regen will not stop the car fast enough. You will be forced to use your brakes. So if you were using this as an example, law enforcement, because of course I don't speed, as a law enforcement vehicle, what would end up happening is you wouldn't use much regen in days where you were in car chases or hot pursuit, because you must use the brakes. There's no way you're not using them and applying them like a regular car. So you have to remember you don't have to drive like a maniac, but go out of your way to tap your brakes and use them a bit every week. Not for long, just 5 or 6 taps even, I'm sure is fine, just so that they don't rust. Otherwise, you could probably I think you could do 100,000 kilometers, or I think, what is that in miles, 80,000 or something? I could be wrong. Before you even need to think about touching your brake pads. In a normal car, depending on how you drive, you're changing your brake pads every 20,000 kilometers, give or take. Unless you have a stick, then less, because you can slow the car down. Downshifting, for those of you that know how to drive stick and get what I'm saying.
No, I think most people don't even know how to use stick anymore. It's kind of like a dinosaur car.
That's true.
Even the cars that used to be only stick are now only automatic.
Well, most of the people watching this channel are 33 to 45-year-old guys. I think that's 80 or 90% of this audience on this small channel. And I think a portion of them will know how to drive stick, but not many, but probably those in their 40s for sure were, growing up around that time where there's still a lot of standard cars around. I hope they don't stop making them, because that's really the true joy of driving, if you're a driving enthusiast, because you really feel the car. You have a lot better control over it, and it's a lot more enjoyable if you have a sports car.
My grandmother swore by a stick.
She had a sports car?
No, she did not have a sports car, but she swore by driving a stick, and she was driving into her 70s with the stick shift until we took the car away from her because it became a little bit dangerous, and she though was very heavy-footed.
So her driving spirit was not the same as a teenage guy, basically.
She would have loved to have had a sports car.
Yeah, it's there's no better feeling, if you know what it's like, and some of you will know, being able to just shift the gears in the car and feel like you have complete control over it in every aspect, accelerating, slowing down. For those of you that cared with the old ICE cars, ICE vehicles, and gas, you save, you can also spend less on gas because you can control when the RPMs change gears, and that burns less gas if you do it, as you know, at lower RPM, or you could burn it a lot faster if you do the reverse and rev as high as possible.
But you, on the other hand, when you were younger, you not only went through tires, your brakes, you probably went through your your gear system too.
I only blew my gear system one gear once, power shifting one of my Mustangs, but otherwise I didn't have any issues like that. I was very good at shifting and my clutch and everything, even though I was hard on the cars. What I did go through a lot of is, especially when I first got my first Mustang, is I used to go through a tank of gas a day, and I'd fill up again at night so that it would be ready for the next day. And I'd go through a lot of tires too, because of driving the car hard. So those were really the two main things. But maintenance, that car was not something that cost a lot of money to maintain. Fords are good that way. Ford, GM.
No, it's still red.
I see.
I'm looking at the lower one over there because the sun is blurring out.
Where's your sense of adventure? So you blow a red light, big deal.
Okay. Well, being that it's my car, I don't feel like having to report to the court because you blew a light.
I mean, it could be worse. You could have a brother-in-law that just backs into your car and destroys its whole rear face.
You could.
That would be worse.
That definitely would.
I wonder if that happens to anybody ever, where their brother-in-law just pulls out of his own driveway and destroys the back end of your car when your car is nowhere near impeding, and is lawfully parked and out of the way, and just gets its face rearranged.
No, it was its rearranged, not its face.
That's true. That's true.
When he sticks his teeth into something, he can go full Monty.
It was the back end.
I'm thinking maybe we could go back there, park again, but this time face forward, so at least we can get the front end and back end replaced at the same time.
Like I was saying the other day, I kind of like this car like this because it looks a little ruthless from behind, and people are scared of you, so they kind of stay away from you because they assume that you can't drive, and they give you the right of way. They let you lane merge easier. I don't think people have ever, I mean, people are generally, for the most part, I know some other people don't have this experience from other videos I've seen, but that people are, not very nice to Teslas. But I've had the opposite experience. People are normally very nice to this car, and now even more so that it's got its rear end smashed and rearranged. It really scares the heck out of them, and they stay totally away, which makes me laugh.
You were guilty of the same, and you do as well.
I do.
When you see a car that's been accidented, you don't think, well, did it happen to them, or are they just poor drivers? You just assume that they're poor drivers, and you want to stay clear.
I just assume that they're a psycho, and I better just watch out. See how much traffic we're in store for. Do you remember how much battery we have when we started driving? I don't, but it's on the video, so people watching will know. But if it's 59%, we'll know when we look back.
I think we put 61 or something like that.
Yeah. 61, 64, 61?
61, 63, something like that.
Now, question is, why is this happening again? Why? Why is this happening again?
It's called Quebec drivers. Look it up, babe. They're terrible.
We had the same thing 9 days ago or 10 days ago, last week on Monday, where there was traffic like this. This time I didn't bother because of the video to actually look on the GPS. You know what? If you have your phone, can you check Waze and see what it says?
I can't because Waze is on your phone, not on mine.
I guess you don't have room on your phone to load it up. What about Google? Do you know if you have Google Maps on your phone? If you swipe down and type Google, see if it shows you Google Maps.
Well, why don't we just put in the restaurant here and see what it usually tells us?
Yeah, let's get. I know it's just the other thing with this car with navigation doesn't
I've got
always
Monopoly
give you the best
Go.
advice time wise.
That's not really going to help, is it?
I'm just going to do Laval car for Laval.
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
You have to start with le. That's why. Le space care for.
I did it. I keep it. It wants, for me personally, I think that's my pet peeve with this.
See, this can't be right. It says 19 minutes.
So this is my pet peeve with this system here. It gives you the little prompt on the right, and if you touch it, you need to make an extra move. And so for me, though, when you see something like that, to me, that's an indicator that's where it wants you to touch. And it should be one step, and it should move straight ahead. But you have to press on the right side on the actual name of what you want instead of the little pin mark on the right-hand side.
I think everybody's different because my natural instinct isn't to do what you do. I just tap it once, and I don't need to make that extra little move. But
I didn't make the extra move, but visually, I instinctively want to. I need to think about it and remember that I need to press the name. But
so if you were to ask me this second, what do I actually press? I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. I just naturally.
You need to press the name. I have to think about it. I didn't make an extra move this time.
I hope the car's right, and it's 17 minutes, but I don't see it because there's just too much traffic here. I wish this car was smarter about its navigation, and usually it's great. Usually it's bang on, but there's instances where it's really bad. Really, really, really bad, time-wise, or sending you along the shortest route to get somewhere.
I have to say, price taken away and savings and convenience or inconvenience. There are nice things about having an electric car, but I definitely think that it's not practical to have a mandate where everything runs electric because I don't think that it is at the point where it's practical for everybody and every purpose. Is it really better for the environment or not?
I think part of it is production, and the other part is what do you do with the batteries? How are they disposed of when they're no longer functioning?
The other thing that wasn't tested too, and I guess it's a matter of time to, we'll find out. But I wonder how healthy it is to be sitting on your battery. Again, we don't stay that long in the car, but still, it's an extra. We'll call it a device. We're always surrounded by our phones. Most of us work on computers, so we're always around. And even if you don't have your phone, there's always cell phone towers, and there's all these things that are in the air that are in our environment and stuff. But I'm wondering, especially for people who do use their car more, is there a health risk by actually using electric cars?
I've seen videos where they take a device to test the radiation, how much it's emitting, and it looks like it doesn't really emit what's beyond the safety levels within the cabin and the cabin of the car. But, you know, we all know that sometimes what is deemed safe isn't necessarily safe, and you find out years later that things need to be adjusted depending on what you're measuring, where, and what the source is, and how things are set up, and so forth. But that's a whole other conversation, and I just assume that it's good. I wouldn't want to spend 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day in the car not knowing more and not doing more research. It's probably fine, but I don't think we know for sure and have enough information. It's something I'd have to look more into, even talk more about it, because I don't want to give out the wrong information. But that's my opinion for now.
As you know, many times people who are in charge of measuring safety measures and health ratings and stuff like that, it's a business, and oftentimes people are paid not to disclose many informations that the public should be aware of. The industry in itself, it just sort of, they get paid to be able um, to publish false information, making the public feeling safe. Anyways, why don't you like and comment and let us know what you think about this?
All right. We stopped the video because of traffic. We had to search something on my phone. Here we are. We've burned. We're at 51%. We're going in for lunch.
Tuna tartare. You see somebody's hungry and is ready to dig in. Start your engines. Our sushi plate is almost an empty plate. All done. Restaurant, we now have incurred 50% battery, and that's where we're holding, and we are on our way to somewhere else.
All right, you guys, leaving the sushi place. We got 49%, as we said a minute ago. And
Remember when I said he can dig in? Well, buckle up. Here he goes.
it's funny. We're in there, and the waiter says, because my wife says, she ordered a spicy, what was it? Spicy what sushi?
We ordered
Your
spicy
order.
tuna and spicy salmon. It
So
was
she
the
says,
same.
so she says to him, mine, meaning hers, isn't very spicy. And he
It
says,
wasn't spicy at all. Not very. There was no spice.
and he says, yeah, well, I'll bring you some sauce on the side that'll make it more spicy. We do that because we want our clients to enjoy the sushi. My question is, but once I hear a statement like that from somebody, I know there's nothing to talk about at this point. My question would be, if they're ordering something spicy and they don't enjoy spicy, why would they order spicy? So it was pretty funny that to him it was logical to say that he wants to have everyone enjoy the sushi, but meanwhile it's a spicy dish. It starts with the word spicy. So I found that pretty funny and bizarre. But anyways, it was good.
There was one thing that was very good, and the rest was
It wasn't
average.
amazing, but it was good. And the price is, what that price point, it's considered a higher end place. Which, by the way, don't ever go to a cheap sushi place. You'll end up in the hospital if you try it enough times. So it should have been better than it was, but it was still good. It was still better than average.
I don't know. I found their salmon tuna tartare to be delicious with the sauce that they put it in and the shrimp chips that they serve it with. That was delicious. I have to say, though, everything else was really mediocre. I think my tuna is better, and my spicy salmon has more flavor and taste to it. It was very, to me, it was really just like having a tuna roll and a salmon roll. They shouldn't even offer spicy because really nothing.
Well, spicy should be spicy, right? It's like, we have creamy desserts, but they're not really creamy because we want clients to enjoy our creamy dessert. But if they ordered creamy, you would think that's what they would want. Anyhow, never mind. Moving right along to something that's going to get edited out.
It's almost going to be like, would you like to have beef? It's not real beef, but we've created a 3D machine, and we've taken something from the cow, and we've let it ferment on a petri tray, and now you can have fake meat that tastes like real meat. Are you interested?
Would you like some whipped cream on your sundae? But we don't really use cream with whipped cream. We just use the word whip because we want people to enjoy the whipped cream, even though they're ordering whipped cream. It's not really whipped cream. It's like, here's your well done steak that's well done, but it's not. It's rare. Well, we want people to enjoy the well done steak, so we give it to them rare because more people like rare than well done, even though they ordered well done.
You're in a turn lane, and we're not turning left. You'll be making a right and 2 lights. The next light.
No, I'm making a left.
Oh, sorry.
Not
yes.
a right.
Looking here. My apologies. Yes, it's right over there. That's what I thought. I was like, why is it telling you? Because I'm looking at it backwards. This is the visual.
All right, you guys, we got 48% battery, and we got back in the car. Well, the camera would have shown you, and I guess we'll edit it in, or maybe we'll edit this part out, but we'll put in what time we got back in the car.
We were talking for 10 minutes. Actually, when we got in the car, it was at 50%. And in that 10 minutes, we lost 1%. And now it's at 48 because he's been driving.
We started at 61, I think we said, right?
In the 60s, the low 60s, yes.
So we've blown through, yeah, about 12, 13%. So that's the thing with this car. You're gonna on average, that's what you're in store for, even in polar vortex, even in polar vortex, that's what you're in store for. Typically you're gonna blow through driving, car sitting, at least 10% battery an hour minimum. But like we said, today's video is we're just going to clock the actual travel time in the car, which I think when we're said and done, we'll have actually done driving time less than 2 hours. And we'll see as we calculate it up how much battery actually got burned in this minus 13 Celsius, real feel minus 27 or minus 13, 14-ish Fahrenheit temperatures.
I asked if they're going to be making cotton candy anymore because now the Christmas season has passed. And the lady looked at me very disalarmed and said no.
Wow, but they were making it way before the Christmas holidays, cotton candy.
I understand.
I guess they just didn't sell enough of it.
No, it was one of their popular ones. I'm really kind of puzzled to why they've decided to take it off the menu. But if it was
so popular, why would they not keep making it if you think it's so popular? I think they weren't selling enough.
Every time I went in there, that was one of the ones that had least amount. And today, you'll be running in.
Make our own little parking spot here
so we can get clipped in the front. It'll be very exciting.
It'll be perfect.
Okay. You're gonna get him it's called Rainbow.
Scan. What does he want? Rainbow. And what do you want?
I do, but I don't.
And if there's no rainbow, what did you get last time for yourself?
No, it was good, but I don't want that again.
Okay, pick something else. I'm just going to get two donuts.
I don't
We're here. Why don't you just go and pick something? Silly. We're right here.
I know.
So?
I normally have the creme brulee, but my butt tells me I shouldn't be eating it.
You're all good.
My mouth says I should.
What's the backup for him if they don't have rainbow?
Get him.
Text it to me.
Oof.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what he wants.
Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
We have to run to go back to work.
Our son loves these donuts. He's going to be so excited. So excited. I have another one waiting for him at home. I don't know. I have to say, personally, I was not a Biden fan at all. I think he was a terrible president. I think he was very dishonest. But I would never, except for maybe voicing my opinion, post such deplorable images with such negative a connotation that Trump winds up getting. Listen, I am not a Trump fan at all in terms of his personal life and his decisions and stuff like that. Um, there's lots of things I disagree with. I definitely think he was the better choice between the two. I think Kamala was absolutely awful, and the fact that she couldn't even manage her budget that she had for less than 2 months speaks volumes of what type of catastrophe, nor could she have any type of conversation without
I think you can
having a
go.
prompt and without it being completely um,
But they take orders too, I think. Huh?
worked in where
Okay.
she was reading her little script and stuff like that. She couldn't do anything impromptu, which being a president, it's one of the things you need to be able to do is to be able to articulate yourself and communicate at any given time. But it's really disgusting the things that people are posting on Trump. You don't like him? Speak your truth. But posting these terrible pictures and images, I think, is really, really deplorable. Everybody should have the right of freedom of speech, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether correct or incorrect. But when you start creating disrespectful images, I think that's especially of your president or your prime minister, depending on where you live. I think that's where a line is drawn that should not be acceptable to be able to be published. I guess they must be busy because he's taken a while. I remember those days and those cute little snowsuits with the ears on them. My gosh, I had a heart attack. It was a gray haired man coming out with 2 boxes, and I did look at his face and I was thinking, what is he doing? He was only supposed to go in there for 2 donuts. Thank goodness, not my husband.
Hi, one rainbow, one creme brulee, and that's it. Two.
They're taking forever in there.
One rainbow and one creme brulee. The first 2 boxes.
There's lots of people coming out. Lots and lots. Not my husband.
Oh, yours. Sorry, I thought it was mine. Oh, they put mine in front of yours. That's why. Okay.
$6.27.
Jenny, exactly when I don't like parking.
Have a good day. Thank you.
The guy hit the mirror. Can you just make sure he didn't damage the mirror? He hit your mirror there.
With what?
With his door, the back door, because he's a dummy.
I'd have to spray the mirror with water to be sure, Brenda. Did you open it like bang, or just it just went like this? There's
heard
enough
it go
dirt that it won't do
poof,
anything.
like he opened it and then it went and it like swung into it.
You know, the problem with people is I don't know how you walk into a donut shop, you stand there, and you expect that everyone else is going to wait 45 minutes for you to make up your mind. It's not a complicated decision. Walk in,
They should
know
say
what
next
donuts.
person.
Yeah.
But there was not just one person serving. There's like 3 or 4
You
people.
want to check them
As
and
you're
see that
going
they're
down.
correct, or I'll open one and you'll open one.
Okay, I can open it.
And people are like really inconsiderate, I have to say. Oh well. Here's what it is. Here, take a Kleenex. No, here.
And ruin it.
No, you can catch the edge of it. Yeah. Just what it is. Hold the Kleenex more so it has more oomph, maybe. I don't know. You want me to hold the other one for you to make it easier for you?
Honestly. I did.
So there's a piece of
So
plastic.
he asked
No,
me
it's
to
gonna
open
fall.
it. No, it's not gonna
Oh,
fall.
yeah, you could see what
And
happened.
the little tab got stuck on the topping of my donuts. My day.
Extra sprinkles.
Yeah. It's extra fiber is what it is.
You got it. Well, job well done.
Yeah. But now my box doesn't close
Your
anymore.
box is mangled.
Maybe I'll just have the other one sit on top. I'm sure that it's fine. What did you wind up getting for him?
What you told me to. So regardless, I'm gonna start driving now, so you need to.
Yes. You got it. I'm holding.
I can drive.
You can drive, baby.
47% battery, and excuse me. We're out of here. People like hitting this car lately. Should I pull out and get smashed here? I have to go out in slow motion because you never know what's gonna happen next. Lately, greatly.
Go in the extreme left and then see if you can make a U-turn there. Because the highway is behind us.
Hold on to those donuts.
I'm hanging on to the broken boxes. The highway's in front of us.
It's called Go Nuts for Donuts. Want some more sushi?
No, thank you.
You sure?
I think that's the last time I'm going there.
Why? It's only $200 for sushi you don't like. What's the problem?
The only thing that I really enjoyed was the appetizer.
So next time you'll get 2 appetizers.
No, because it's going to be too...
You'll get 2 tuna tartars. You'll enjoy it more and it'll cost the same as your whole meal.
No, I think next time I'll just get an appetizer and no rolls. And that will be my lunch. I'm not doing rolls there anymore. If you insist on going back.
I would drive into the city. You don't like the drive sometimes. That's why we go there. I always tell you it's better than average there, but it's not as good as what you'll find in the city, which is as good as you'll find in the world, basically.
I know, but every time we go in the city, we wind up eating AI dumpling, which is amazing. And you just can't get yourself past that.
Now, the problem with the city is that the sushi is only open after 5 p.m.
That is also true. You're going to access the first...
I know that. I can see that.
Okay, I'm just making sure since you don't have...
Navigation.
But we don't need navigation. You know how to get home from here, I hope.
Yeah. It will happen soon, if not next week. Maybe. It'll be in the near future.
They had some good movies, but everything lately, it's emerging.
I know
here.
that.
But there's a big truck here. Oh my gosh.
I know that too.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
exactly. And I would have honked at you too because what you did was not a good move.
I know what I'm doing. I've raced cars. I don't need your driving critiques. I love you, but when I'm driving, there's no need for you to tell me what to do or not to do.
Except for when you
You're in
don't.
good hands with
Except for
Allstate.
when you don't see a bicyclist and you almost run them over until I tell you they're there.
Bicyclists are 10 points. You need to get your point system straight. So if we don't edit this part out, for those of you watching, the truck in the right lane, pickup truck, was driving like the letter A dash. You can figure out the rest. And when somebody does that to me, they get it back. So I'll slither in where I feel that I should have been let in, and I don't really care if the other person doesn't like it, because I'm sure you guys can relate to that. However, my wife here is the opposite of she's an overly defensive driver, and everything that she does when she drives is a recoil on erring on the side of caution with a splash of over caution, and I don't drive that way. And what I've found over the years is that it's good to drive defensively, but if you drive too defensively, you'll get into more accidents in the long term than you will having that happy medium and not being concerned with pushing yourself into or out of a situation as needed based on the flow of traffic. And you would never switch lanes like I just did just now with the car coming. By the way, my pet peeve with this car is the way that the indicators work, left, right, is very, very, police are right there. They didn't have a problem with what I just did. The indicators are not well done. As smart as this car is, there's a few features of this car that make it, I'm going to use the word, the opposite of smart. One is when you flicker left or flicker right. And for those of you that know, yes, you could set it so that when you switch lanes, it automatically goes off, but that doesn't always work, and I do have that setting um, enabled. The other thing I don't like is the consistency of the navigation judging if you're on a good route or a slow route or the wrong route altogether. I'd say it's right 98% of the time. For a car this smart, I'd expect it to be wrong never, 0% of the time. Because in comparison to the other things it does, that I think are much more sophisticated. Actually, I shouldn't say that because at the end of the day, well, yeah, because it's GPS, so it's satellites. No, it shouldn't have that issue. It should be configured where you never have issues, in my opinion. Anyhow, the horn is the design of activation of the horn is terrible. This is a 2021 Model 3. You have to practically slap the horn, slap that, you know what, to get it to do anything. Even if you push like this, you get the idea. You have to actually follow through and then some to get it to honk.
I feel tingling in my toes.
In your toast or in your toes?
Toes.
Not in your donuts?
I haven't had my donut
You feel
yet.
tingling in your donuts? They're in the box. You can still feel them. You feel the tingling, it would reverberate toward out of the box outwardly onto your fingers.
No.
42% battery, and I don't think we've spent more than 40 minutes total on the highway, and we have munched away at 20%, almost 19% battery. Polar vortex minus 27, real feel. If we didn't put the temperature up earlier, we'll put it up now. I don't think I'll be far off in the real feel temperature. But we'll show you a screenshot so that you know that I'm not kidding, because there's a big difference with what this says, minus 13 Celsius, and what it really feels like when they give you the real feel, and what your battery feels like.
I have to say, I never understood that. If it really feels like negative 25,
That's what I think.
then why is it not negative 25?
The actual temperature.
How do you actually know it's really negative 13?
I think what they do is they sequester a testing area that does not have the wind air blowing around it, and then they have the wind air blowing on it. There's your two different temperatures. Actually, I'm joking. There is a meteorological manner in which they do this with the proper equipment that a meteorologist could answer, or if you're that curious, just search it on the internet. You'll find your answer. Some people use Celsius, and some people use Fahrenheit, and some people use cellulite.
It should be all the same. The end. There should just be one universal measure.
I'm surprised the cars stopped to that degree just for those flares that were sitting there on the ground. Because everything came to a standstill. There were no cars in the middle of the highway. There was no big amount of debris that was smashed up. You could say, well, the cars were still there until you got there, but and then soon before you got there, they were removed. But no, it was just the flares and a little bit of plastic and nothing else. It's really weird. I think people were expecting more, and they saw flares, and it made them nervous, and everyone just stopped to a quell. So the point of this video, really, and we'll edit it out, is we want to just total time spent driving on the highway, on the main road, equal how much battery used. And that was the mission for today's battery drain video.
Totally off topic, but I was laughing to myself because if I wind up running into our neighbor, I couldn't remember how you say garbage in French. So I wanted to tell her in French.
Les déchets.
No, they say des odeurs. And to me, I would think it's odors, which is like kind of funny if you would think about a translation. But no, when I typed it into Google Translate, it said odeur. So I wanted to tell her that she needs to contain her odeurs because they include and they want, bring them over to our house, which is ridiculous that I need to pick up her trash.
You mean her milkshake doesn't bring all the boys to the yard?
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't. Maybe if you put into Google trash, it might come up what you said. But garbage.
The word I used is also applicable.
No, it is, but I'm just saying the exact translation might be trash, and I didn't put in trash, I put in garbage.
Also, garbage can is poubelle, so you could say votre poubelle.
No, because it's not.
Pour les déchets. Your garbage can. But then you're saying your garbage can for the garbage. So you only need one of those words. Otherwise, it's someone that doesn't speak English that would say to you, your garbage can for the garbage? You could say, no, my garbage can for my food. Is that what you meant? Of course it's a garbage can for the garbage.
It would be true if it's food.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily food that is flying through the air and all over our property.
No, I was making a joke, meaning if someone were to say that, it would be the equivalent of one doesn't go with the other. So there's no need to use those two words. One word will suffice and make more sense than saying it the other way.
I understand.
Your garbage, your trash cans. You have to say your trash cans for your garbage.
No, you just say your garbage.
Yeah.
Des odeurs.
Or des déchets.
Did you watch that video that I sent you that I made my suggestion, or you just ixnayed it and just gave me your response? Did you watch it this morning?
I don't remember which one you're talking about. I'm sure I did.
It was with like crazy amount of ice.
Yeah, no, not for this. I did answer you. It's the answer.
You answered me, but did you watch the video again? I'm asking you.
I didn't, because it's something that has been created by someone else that I don't want to use. So it doesn't matter what it would have looked like or how good it would be.
It was a compilation of different. It wasn't somebody was in the background talking. It was a compilation of
this crazy winter vortex ice storms and how people have been really stuck. And at the end, it was, and some of the things that they were doing, I believe part of it was taken in Chicago and some of it was taken here in Canada. But it was absolutely nuts, and it was really about the images. And again,
I'm actually craving some nuts.
you know what? I understand why you're eating so many nuts, because you think it's going to help your
Because I've
cholesterol.
got nuts?
No, because nuts are supposed to actually help lower your cholesterol. But
Not when you're having smoked hickory. I looked it
well,
up.
that's what I was about to say. I think you need to
There's fiber, but the smoked hickory part counterbalances the.
I was about to say.
So it says in moderation, it could be helpful. Could.
Correct.
Could.
Correct.
And you know what could means?
Correct.
Could not too.
Correct.
So.
It could if you think it will.
But I have not had eggs for the last 48 hours. I've had egg whites, but no yolks.
That's not true.
Well, direct. I mean, everything, a lot of things do have some egg in them.
That's not true. If you're referring to the eggs that I made you, I do add a few eggs, but it's majority egg whites in it.
For me, you can make it straight egg white. I don't need the yolks when I'm having a day of no yolk.
For you, I'm not making two different eggs.
No, but if there's a time where you make it and you're not eating it.
Well, when I eat it, I do add, again, it's minimal.
You're saying it's okay for me to risk a stroke or heart attack so you can enjoy your breakfast. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that if you continue to eat so many eggs on your own,
that I deserve the stroke or heart attack anyway, so you shouldn't be penalized the one that you want to have.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand your thought process.
Maybe you need to regulate yourself.
I am regular.
I didn't say regular, I said regulate yourself.
I know.
And I used to make you oatmeal, and I've got blueberries, and that is a very
healthy. Is this guy getting option. A ticket, or can you see the plate well enough if you're a cop that you're not going to give him a ticket?
I would give him a ticket.
You can't see
No
it.
tickets. That person over there, that person, again, borderline. For us, I would give us a ticket too, because I've told you
it's
need
filthy.
To clean it.
I did clean it the other day, but the car's so filthy.
That one's definitely a ticket.
In the back, that there's no point in washing it.
I have to say, it's really a stupid place in Canada for cars that are created in Canada, and you deal with this type of weather. But that's where the plate should wind up being. I think it is completely ridiculous. Ticket?
That's my other peeve, is the way the wipers work. See how the wiper just went on for no reason? There's no reason. It's set to auto, and the way that it senses the condition of the windshield is something that is ridiculous. But I do understand in a car like this and with technology, you do have to pick your battles, and it is a mass production type of thing, and I realize they do have other priorities as well, so I can't say I might not do the same thing and neglect certain things when you're trying to figure out groundbreaking, features from the technologies that they're working on. So I get it, but still, it's really annoying.
Speaking about wipers, I'm going to say that on one hand, these wipers thoroughly impress me, and on the other hand, I can't believe how cheapy they are, but it sounds like an oxymoron. So what am I saying? A few years back, we had this terrible storm that we were driving in, and we could not stop the windshield wipers from freezing and creating condensation underneath it. It actually distorted the wiper, and we had ice and everything, to the point where we thought the wiper was completely damaged and we would have to replace it. It was not functioning anymore at all on our drive, which was catastrophic. And we had a lot of highway driving to do to return back home. But when we got the car back in our garage and after everything melted, I have to say I was completely shocked because if you would have told me, do you want to bet that your wiper is finished? I would have taken that bet and I totally would have lost. Do you remember that day
I
with
do.
your kids?
It was so bent and warped that I thought the wiper was garbage. And if any of you remember this or are old enough to remember, some will be, there was a doll called Stretch Armstrong in the 70s and maybe early 80s, but I don't think so. It was in the 70s. So the windshield wiper behaved like Stretch Armstrong. And the reason they called him Stretch is because you could stretch him beyond belief and he would contort back to his original shape because he was filled with some type of red jelly substance. But unless you're a kid like me who plays with it enough that literally made it explode, and my poor mother went crazy because I destroyed a white carpet when I executed Stretch Armstrong. But the wiper bent back like that doll used to.
And I was about to say, and how would you know there's red stuff filled inside of it?
There's the answer.
I think you were probably one of the very few that actually completely destroyed it.
I don't know. Might be more common than we think.
I'm not sure.
Young boys have lots of destructive energies.
I know our
And
neighbor's son probably would have destroyed it.
see, that's true. There you go.
But he's also thrown stones across and other things at our house.
You mean like his dog's feces that was on his lawn?
Yes. Which we made him clean up. He was very excited about.
Yeah.
Stepping on that ladder and cleaning the side of our building.
So we're back. We've got 35% battery, and we'll put a little insert here that shows you guys the exact amount of time driven on the highway and off the highway. We will not include that time in the standby time, just the actual minutes of in motion and how much battery. I believe we started this whole trip at 61%, but the insert will show you how it goes. Hit the bell, sub, and like if you liked the video, and we'll see you soon.
Have a great day.